Welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Lauren Izo. And coming up in this edition, the country is getting restless under a nationwide lockdown as Israel gets closer to getting its hands on a vaccine. A big-budget Israeli TV show about the Yom Kippur War will be broadcasted globally by HBO. We'll talk to the show's breakout star. And be careful, a rare, poisonous salamander is spotted in the country's north. According to the Israeli Central Bureau of Statistics, 19% of Israel's labor force, around 750,000 people, are either unemployed or on unpaid leave because of the COVID-19 pandemic. There's also been an alarming increase in suicidal thoughts amid the country's second nationwide lockdown since March. Still, the Finance Ministry and Health Ministry are at odds over going back to business as usual. Chana Rifkin reports.
After a Wednesday meeting ended with no conclusion, Israel's coronavirus task force is still undecided about when the country can ease more lockdown restrictions. There has been a 71% increase in suicidal thoughts amid the second lockdown, according to a health ministry report. For now, stage 3, which would see malls opening up alongside a night curfew, will be postponed, but the Knesset has approved for certain cities, including Eilat and the Dead Sea, to operate as tourist islands.
אז 26 בעד, נגד אין וגם אין נמנעים. החוק התקבל בקריאה שלישית.
Meanwhile, Israel could get its hands on a vaccine quite soon. The Prime Minister spoke with the CEO of drug maker Pfizer overnight.
סיימתי עכשיו שיחה מאוד חמה ולבבית עם אלברט בורלה, מנכ"ל חברת פייזר. חברת פייזר הודיעה שלשום שהיא פיתחה חיסון נגד הקורונה עם יעילות של 90%. כל העולם רוצה לקבל את התרופות שלה. אנחנו מנהלים איתה משא ומתן.
And Israel will also receive a Russian-made vaccine that Moscow says is even more effective, 92%, according to officials from Hadassah Hospital. The health ministry is considering recommending a law that would require every Israeli to be vaccinated once it becomes available. On Wednesday, there were 734 new cases, and there are 312 people currently severely ill. The death toll stands at 2,700.
Too big, too small, too thin, uncomfortable, not safe. It's tough to find the most perfect and safest COVID mask. Generally, the average one protects others from your germs and not vice versa. But what about protecting yourself from others? One Israeli mask maker, Synovia, uses a special antibacterial technology to make sure you and your loved ones are protected. Liat Goldhammer-Steinberg, Chief Technology Officer at Synovia, is with me in studio. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So tell me about this unique technology that you guys have developed.
The technology was developed in Bar-Ilan University. It is utilizing ultrasonic energy to infuse safe chemicals onto the surface of the textile, any type of textile. In our case, the mask is protecting from COVID, it's protecting from various types of bacteria, breathable, easy to use.
What other kind of bacteria does it protect against?
Actually, we've tested a wide range of bacteria. It actually fights any type of bacteria.
Wow.
From both types, positive, negative.
So I know there's all different kinds of masks, but compared to your average masks, how effective are these? How much more effective are they?
So we ran, for COVID specifically, we ran several tests against SARS-CoV-2, which is the cause of COVID-19. And in one test, for example, we were managing to neutralize the virus by over 99% within 30 minutes.
Wow.
So that's very
unusual. The masks are reusable, of course.
Yes, this is the most important attribute to us, other than, of course, killing bacteria and viruses. We believe in sustainability, and masks are reusable, and therefore they're not becoming a burden, a bio-burden, bio-waste that is thrown there, and it's safe for the users as well.
Sure, but as you wash the product, you know, the antibacterial technology must get less effective as you're washing it, correct?
No, our masks, one of the most important attributes is the durability to wash cycles. You can wash them, if you hand wash them, you can go all the way up to 100 wash cycles.
Wow.
And use it for more than 1 year.
You can wash it 100 times and it will still be just as safe.
Yes.
Wow, interesting.
Yes.
And so since you're working with fabrics, I understand you're making other types of products, not just masks, correct?
That's correct. Our vision is really to help or to enable the public to go back to their normal routines by using all kinds of textiles that are in their surroundings. So the next product, for example, we're developing gloves based on based on customers' requests. Customers were looking for gloves to protect them when they're doing their grocery shopping, when they're driving, when they're taking public transportation. So probably the next product is going to be gloves, and other products as well, baby products, car covers, car seat covers.
I could see this, on many products, on many things in the textile industry. It could even become part of the fashion industry.
Absolutely. We're already in contact with leading brands in the industry to introduce the technology. Everybody after the COVID pandemic eruption understands that textile is the #1 consumable. It's around us, it's on us all day long, and they're looking for their products to be safe, to be protective.
So the other products you're working on, do you have any plan to launch them anytime soon? And where are the masks available right now?
The masks are available on our website and via our Amazon store.
Okay, and the gloves are already available or
not yet? Not yet. It's still in development, but hopefully in the next few weeks they will become available.
Wow.
And other products will follow as well.
And so they're available just in Israel, or
no,
all over
actually
the world?
we're shipping all over the world.
Wow. And where are most of your customers coming from?
From the U.S.
From the
U.S. market is our #1 market. Yes. But
okay.
we also sell in Europe. We even sold in Singapore, in Africa, all over.
All over the place. Yeah. So you offer, a variety of different colors and styles. Can you tell me about the different masks that you brought in today?
Yes.
Show us a few.
Recently, we started to market the mask in various colors. We developed them for kids. Kids are now back to school, so it's very important that their experience of wearing the mask would be fun, comfortable.
As fun as it can be.
Exactly, and our masks are breathable than most masks, so adding the color was just another attribute to make you feel more fashionable.
Definitely. So how many colors does it come in?
Oh, I think we have about 6 or 7 different colors
6 or 7 colors?
Yes. We only brought a few here, but other colors are available on our website. And
what's the most popular color?
Well, I think people like the black.
The black.
The gray.
Black goes with everything,
pink,
right?
Pink is...
What if I wanted to design my own Synovia mask? Is that an option?
Currently, no, but you give us now an idea of a possible...
All right, I'm going to think of a really cool design, and I'm going to send it to you.
Absolutely.
Liat, thank you so much for coming in, and best of luck.
Thank you.
From protection to fashion, a new handbag line coming from Israel is getting inspiration from the last place you'd expect, the pandemic. Kobe Levy, most famous for his eccentric shoe designs, announced new additions to his collection. A couple of COVID-19 handbags. One bag called Face It looks like a face mask for obvious reasons, and another called Lockdown is in the shape of a lock, inspired by quarantine lockdowns happening all over the world. Levy, who got his start at Israel's Bezalel Academy, has designed shoes for stars like Lady Gaga and Netta Barzilai. And another fashion story for you. An Israeli watch aficionado was so inspired by the recent peace deals between Israel and Arab countries like the UAE that he designed a special edition watch to show his appreciation. The new brand, IDW, or Israel Designer Watch, has blue accents and features a Star of David on its face, and there are only 300 available, so better get your hands on one before it's too late. Meanwhile, the UAE announced that 3 Israeli airlines will begin direct flights from Tel Aviv to Dubai in December, with El Al operating 2 flights per day, Israel offering 6 weekly flights, and Arkia operating 1 per day. Jamal Al-Hay, deputy CEO of Dubai Airport, said there is a lot of anticipation following the signing of the historic accords, and both sides recognize the importance of enabling air connectivity as one of the first important steps to realizing those expectations. Well, the Iranian Chess Federation could be facing an imminent international ban for its continued refusal to allow Iranian chess players to compete against their Israeli equivalents. According to the International Chess Federation, the warning also included the mention of Iran boycotting events that lists Israeli players as participating. The organization released a statement warning the Islamic Republic of consequences if they don't comply, including an indefinite suspension from all FIDE activities. Valley of Tears, the Israeli TV show everyone is raving about, has been making headlines for several reasons, including for the fact that it's been acquired by HBO, the latest in a handful of Israeli productions bought out by big international distributors. The series, directed by Yaron Zilberman and based on the Yom Kippur War of 1973, is already airing in Israel. The show features some of the country's biggest names on big and small screens. And here to talk to us today is the show's breakout star, Shakhar Tavach. Before we get to him, we're going to watch a short clip from the show. Take a look.
אני מכיר את ההסתעפות הזאת. שמאלה, שמאלה.
All right, let's welcome Shakhar. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
So, wow, what an intense scene. Tell me about what it was like filming that.
Like this specific scene, I remember that day like perfectly. We went through all the base, like from the there's like floors. So we went like from the first floor to the first the -4 floor. Like we just went and went and went, going, kept going and kept going. Like and they shot it like every frame and everything. And it was like, I think it was like an entire day, just those scenes.
And the tunnels that you filmed this in, are they like authentic tunnels or is it a set? How does it work?
Okay, so some of them, but like some of them, all the people in the production like did a really huge research about everything. Like it was like 10 years of research.
Wow.
Yeah, from like the writing, the script, and then like after that, that they wrote the script, they had like to go to every base and like to collect stuff from the places. Some of the places they see, they hear. Some of the places you see here are authentic, but some of them recreated for the show.
It looks really authentic.
Thank you.
Well, obviously you're an Israeli. You must have some connection to this war. Maybe people in your family that you're related to fought in this war. So tell me, how did you connect to this role? Was it really easy or was it really challenging?
Okay, so like my grandfather, he fought in the war, but like not in the South District. He was like in the North. So I heard a lot of stories that he told me stories, but like most of my information I really discovered from from the auditions and from I had after I got in to the role I had to do a big research.
I'm sure.
And I'm a big nerd, so I liked it. I really enjoyed every part.
So you can relate to your character in the show.
Of course, we're the same person. It was really to put me it's for how do you say that
goosebumps.
Yeah, goosebumps, every second.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And, tell me about the moment that you found out that you were going to be, this show was going to air on HBO to the entire world.
Wow. Wow. At first, I didn't know that. When I got to the audition, I remember they told me, it's the biggest production in Israel. They had the most expensive budget, and, it's, amazing. And then I said, oh, my God, okay, I'm very excited. But
you didn't know at that point that it was going to HBO.
No, never.
Right.
And then, after the show was, going to be aired, I think, a week before it was going to be aired, I had, they called us, to meet together to an interview. And then after the interview, Yaron, the director, he told me, Shakhar, don't panic. It's going to be on HBO Max. And I said, wait, what?
I pass out?
And almost like my character, but no. I just really, screamed. I remember that day, I wrote Ron, the amazing writer, I wrote him a letter on email, and I said, oh my God, I can't believe it, I can't breathe. It was really exciting.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
So, the whole country is watching this show. You must walk down the street and have every single person recognize your face. What is that like?
Okay, so I'm a very neurotic person, and I'm very afraid from the coronavirus. So I almost.
As everyone should be.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes. Safety first.
Absolutely.
So I'm home all the time. So like most of my connection with the audience is from like messages on Instagram, Facebook, and I get a lot of them like even from the youngest generation. Like the young generation are amazing, everyone. Like I get like messages that said, thank you so much. Like I now learn new things about the country, about our country. And I asked my grandfather and grandmother, what is it like to be in the army and to serve? And it's amazing that the old generation gets an opportunity to talk with the young generation.
Absolutely. And when is this show going to be available on HBO streaming services?
Today.
Today?
It's gonna be today.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
Good timing.
Yeah, amazing timing.
So how do you expect, the international audience to respond to this kind of story that so far, has only been told in Israel, that show specifically, obviously?
Yes, I know that like some of them doesn't know what is like the Yom Kippur War, that is like the hugest scar in our history here in Israel. But I think for them, like more than just a war story, it's like a story that it's not like, I know you can enjoy it, even though you're not Jewish, even though you're not like from Israel, because in every country, in the US, they have like an army. Therefore, you need to learn about what your soldiers are going through. Like every day, for you, when you sit at home, your soldiers like risk their life, and to knowledge what they're going through, even just a little bit from the stories here, it's amazing.
And I have to ask, what about Snowbar? Your little pet.
My beloved Snowbar.
Do you get to keep him? Is he yours?
Okay, so we can't adopt like hedgehogs. It's not legal. So I visit him. I now like texted the farm that's like has Snowbar, and he's alive. He's healthy, and he's amazing. So I now texted him, and
is that his real name, Snowbar?
We named him.
You named him.
He was tiny, so we named him when he was a little boy.
Wonderful.
And we have a strong connection, and I think like the most important thing that you can see from their connection, Avinam and Snowbar, that you can see how much love Avinam has to give. Like in the first episode, Avinam, the nerdy character that I am, is like a lot of soldiers may see him as an annoying person, but he's not. You can see from like the connection between him and his jacket, how much love he has to give.
And without giving any spoilers, he turns out to be, the smartest one out of all of them.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Thank you.
Anyways, Shakhar, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I had so
and
much
everybody
fun.
Can go to HBO Max to check out Valley of Tears. Take a look, everyone. Thank you so much. HBO will have another piece of Israeli history in its arsenal. The network announced it's working on a film about the 1993 Oslo Accords. The film, called Oslo, tells the story of the Norwegian diplomats behind the historic peace agreements signed by Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat, and it's based on a stage play. Directing the film is Tony Award winner Bartlett Sher. There are also several Israeli stars in the film, including Sasson Gabay playing Shimon Peres. The project is now being filmed in Prague despite difficulties due to COVID, and it should hit HBO's streaming service by the end of the year. And now it's time for a roundup of the hottest Israeli tech news this week. Here to fill us in on the details is CTech's managing editor, Ron Friedman. Hey, Ron, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Lauren, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we're talking about the biggest stories in tech. Take it away.
Right. It's been quite a week. Perhaps like the biggest story, at least in terms of topics that our viewers will be familiar with, is the acquisition of an Israeli company called Voca AI by none other than Snap, the parent company of the popular app Snapchat. We all know it as the cute app geared towards millennials or younger people, where you can add, funny ears or eyes or emoticons. You send messages. In most cases, they're temporary ones that disappear after a few minutes. In any case, it's a household name, a very big messaging service company. So they're buying Voca AI, a relatively small, not very well-known Israeli company. The price tag on that is $70 million, which is impressive, definitely by Israeli standards. What they do is, call centers, when you're chatting with a representative, oftentimes these days, the person you're chatting with is not a person, it's an algorithm, a robot. So Voca AI is kind of taking that to the next level. They have a very powerful artificial intelligence backed algorithm that really makes you feel as if you're talking to a human being. They can detect accent, they can detect tone of voice, they can detect the age or the mentality of the person they're speaking to and adjust it so that it really feels like a human interaction.
Interesting. Okay, let's move on to your next story. Thousands of Israelis are at risk of blackmail after their accounts were hacked. Pretty crazy story. What happened?
Yeah, it's a pretty bad one. So, hacks happen pretty often. In this case, we're talking about a hack or a breach into a series or a network of dating/hookup websites, and literally 600,000 Israelis, on these various websites had fed in over the years lots and lots of data, lots of messages, photos, information. All that has been breached, and that information is out there now. And we're talking about nude images. We're talking about people committing adultery on these kind of sites. A lot of potential for being blackmailed if that data, if that information falls into the wrong hands. The hacker who discovered it even told about cases where government employees or military officials were exchanging information on some of these sites, in some cases standing in front of maps containing secret military operations.
Wow.
and sensitive information. So in the hacking world, and this is a huge story this week. A lot of people might be nervous these days.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what comes out of that. And our final item from you, Ron, is about gamers.
Yeah, so it's a great feature story that you can read. All these stories are available, of course, on kalkalistech.coil. But I recommend this one. Amit Kling, a reporter, wrote about the gaming industry, the indie gaming industry here in Israel, and how it's ready for its big breakout. Basically, since distribution of games no longer relies on brick and mortar stores, and anybody anywhere in the world can purchase or get their hands on an independent game, that whole industry here is flourishing. He gives several examples of games that are either out or coming out soon. And he's interviewing figures from the gaming community here, and everybody's anticipating a really big break. And hopefully, one day Israel will be home to some kind of AAA titles, which is what the industry's been waiting for.
I don't know if you're a gamer, Ron, but I wonder if you can give us some insight into some specifics in some of these indie Israeli games.
Sure. I mean, so independent gaming, as opposed to, again, AAA gaming, and opposed to, on one hand, you have like the console wars. You have huge games that take you hundreds of hours to play with beautiful graphics and plots, and cost $100 million to make. On the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, you have mobile games that you play on your smartphone, right. Casino games, and the indie gaming industry is kind of in the middle there. It's kind of popular viral games, but nowhere near the magnitude of the AAA games. Some of the games that people can already try out: a game called A Bird in Cage, a game called Grime.
Okay, we will definitely take your recommendations. Ron, thank you so much for this great rundown. We'll see you soon.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
All of our regular viewers understand that all of us here at ILTV are wild for animals of all kinds, especially my producer, Nittany Manson. This week, to our delight, there has been several wild animal sightings, but one in particular stood out to us here at ILTV. The cooler weather has brought out rare fire salamanders in Israel, even though they are nearly extinct. A Nature and Parks employee snapped the little guy, an amphibian who lives only in clear or running bodies of water. His existence means there could be others out there, but just a warning, if you see one, don't touch it. It's poisonous. Okay, let's take a look at the weather forecast. The weekend will be a mixture of cloudy and clear skies, with lows tonight averaging 60 degrees Fahrenheit and about 15 degrees Celsius. Friday and Saturday, highs will average 80 degrees Fahrenheit and around 26 degrees Celsius. All right, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.38 shekels to the American dollar and 2.58 shekels to the Canadian dollar. For more news from ILTV, please like ILTV on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube and Roku TV pages. I'm Lauren Izzo. Thanks so much for watching.